Welcome back to According to a Black Girl. I am your host, TC, coming to you with another video. In these videos, I talk to you about my experiences. That's right, as a black girl. I know you guessed it. I know you knew it. But not only do I talk about my experiences in my day-to-day life, but I talk about experiences in the corporate world and my experiences traveling and going to different places and how I live just every day as a black girl, because that's what I am. That's what I do. Remember, all the things that I talk about, they are subjective. So you can agree or disagree. It doesn't even matter. But these are my truths. They're my truths, not yours, mine. Just kidding. But legit, they're my truths. Today, I wanted to talk about the mother-daughter experiences the mother-daughter experience as a black girl. I'm a daughter, and I can speak to my experience being raised under another black woman and how she raised me. You know, let me preface this conversation with this. If you are a parent, it's not an easy thing. We don't come with a manual. None of us do. So it's more like a learning case by case situation, right? So with that being said, there is no right way or wrong way to raise a child. You attempt to do the best that you can with hopes that your child takes something away from you that you've taught them and apply it to real life. With my mother's case, she had a child before me, which is my older brother. And she had him to go off of as a guide, although I believe he is the favorite. She says she doesn't have a favorite, but we all know that there is a favorite out there in these streets. Y'all know. Just saying. But she had experience dealing with my brother, so she kind of knew what to expect, but each child is different, rightfully so. And I am totally different from my brother. He is totally different from me. We grew up in the same households, but listen, the takeaways from each of us are very different, right? So I wanted to preface this conversation with that first. This video is kind of similar to the one that I did about my the father-daughter experience, but again, this is a mother-daughter experience. I can speak to it because I now have a daughter. She's wonderful. She's great. But I can kind of speak on what I want to deliver to her as a mom and from my experience in growing up. So I guess I can kind of touch on my experience in growing up and with my mom and the dynamic that we had, our relationship. So again, like I said, I have an older brother, and we're 18 months apart. So naturally, he got a lot of stuff that I wanted, or he got the stuff and I didn't. My mother was a single mom. She divorced my dad when I was, I guess, 2, if I can remember good and well. But yeah, she divorced my dad when I was 2, so like late 80s. So she was a single parent, and we grew up in our home, in my mom's hometown, which is Louisville, Mississippi, not far from where my grandparents stayed. So we were constantly over their house while my mom worked, and she just did what she had to do in order to raise us. So we were with our grandparents a lot, and aunties and uncles and cousins and stuff like that. So it was a family affair. Again, I think I spoke about this in the other video, saying that I wasn't lacking anything. It was just the way we were brought up. It was a lot of family around. But I was an extrovert. When I was younger, I was an extrovert. I used to love talking. I still like talking, but to a camera and to my cousins and to people I like and know. But I used to talk a lot. I used to just verbalize a lot of things. I was very chatty. That was me. I was that too grown kid that was always in grown folks' business. Thought I knew everything, didn't know a damn thing. But that was me. Sorry. I know y'all be looking at them little grown kids like, but that was me. I thought I knew everything, but I didn't know a damn thing. But that's because I was raised with my grandparents and with the older elders and stuff like that. So obviously, I was rolling with them and listening to them and listening to phone conversations and stuff like that. Stuff I shouldn't have been exposed to, but I was. That's that. But as I grew older, I knew that I really couldn't vocalize a lot of things to my mom, because she would get angry and she was super overprotective of me specifically. And I was a girl. You know, you worry about certain things when you grow up, but at this point in time, I know I worry about different things than what my mom was worried about when I was growing up. You know, now they don't have the same things going on, you know, as what we had when we were growing up. Me and my brother can stay out down the street until lights came on, the street lights came on, but I couldn't let my daughter do that right now because folks is crazy. Folks are seriously crazy. But she was overprotective. I couldn't really talk to her about certain things. I would sneak and do stuff. I snuck and shaved my legs. I remember that. I snuck and just had a razor. Could have cut myself. Anything could happen. And yeah, it was difficult for me to communicate with her. I shut off a lot of things that I would have told her because I know like she would get mad and upset with me about certain things. My brother was a different story. Like, honestly, there's no comparison. That's a different dynamic. I honestly can't speak on the mother-son relationship. I would have to have a panel of people to discuss that with because I can't speak on that. I don't know what the mother-son relationship looks like because I'm not a son and I don't have a son. So but yeah, all that to say, I felt like my mom was a little bit overprotective of me, and it caused me to kind of want to rebel, not want to listen, because I felt like there was a bit of favoritism, as I said at the beginning of the video, with my brother, and he could do certain things. But I look back on it now, it's like, okay, well, he could do those things because he was a boy. And the way he was a boy, he could carry himself, and guys were good. Times are different now, though. If I had a son, I would be a little cautious about him hanging out and about because of other stuff that goes on as a black man. But fast forward, my mom, I got older. I was a teen. I thought I knew everything. Obviously, we know how it goes. There was a lot of emphasis put on me to do certain things and not a lot of emphasis put on my brother. So obviously I would rebel because I saw the differences once I got older. And everything that my mom was talking about, I was like, I don't want to do it. I didn't want to be that person. I was just so rebellious as a teen. And, I was like, I'm not having any kids. I'm not doing that. Da, 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 da. And I felt like my mom could have been projecting a bit of her trauma onto me. And when I say trauma, I mean how she grew up and how she was raised. I felt like maybe a little bit of that was projected onto me when she was raising me. But how else, can she raise me when that's all she knew when she was growing up? So I'm not saying that it was right. I'm not saying it was wrong. That's all she knew, and that's how she raised me. So that was probably part of the problem, taking how you were raised and trying to project it onto me, and knowing like the times were a little bit different scenarios, different situations. But again, that's all she knew. I got older. 24 is when I had my daughter. And such a beautiful day, changed my life, changed my outlook on life. Because again, I was a selfish, just living in the moment kid. At 23, at 22, I was still living my best life up until, I had my daughter. And it became better, but it became more structured and more careful, right? Because I got a kid. I have to be very cautious on what I'm doing because this little girl is watching up to me. Watching up. She's looking up to me, and she's looking for me to do things, and she's, observant. She's a kid. That's what they do. They absorb information quickly. But I knew as soon as I found out I was having a girl that I wanted things to be different. I didn't want the same type of relationship that me and my mom had for me and my daughter. I wanted her and I to have a bond like no other. And we do. I'm laughing because I think of a situation that just happened like last month with her. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But I'm protective over her, but not as protective as my mom was over me. Not overprotective. I understand that she's a human and she has to make her own decisions. It is not on me to project anything onto her. So if I don't like something, I shouldn't project that onto her. If I'm eating something, I don't want to project that onto her because she has to figure out whether she likes something or not. Whenever she's ready to try whatever it is that she wants to try, she can try it. I don't want to be the one to say no. Obviously, there are certain things that I'm not going to allow her to do or explain to her and let her know, like, hey, this might not be the best decision right now because you're so young and you're not thinking it all the way through. So let's just give it some time. And if you still feel this way when you turn XYZ, then we can, talk about it then. But for now, we just gonna leave it where it is. But again, I don't want her to think that I have to do something because my mom is projecting that onto me. Even careers. Like, she's such a great artist. She does like paintings and things on canvases and artwork and computer stuff and graphic designs and stuff like that. She does all of it. And if she wants to pursue that, great. If not, okay. I support whatever you want to do. But what I don't want to do is project something onto her that she doesn't want to do, because what happens there is she'll end up like me. She'll end up like, oh my God, what do I want to do with my life? Because I tried to go into this field because my mom wanted me to go into this field. I don't love this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to study this. And now she's, lost on what she wants to do in life. I don't want that for my daughter. I wanted her to make her own decisions and go through life, understanding what she likes and what she doesn't like. But obviously, she gets in trouble for certain things. I don't get too upset with her, but I do have a discussion with her so she can understand like where she went wrong and why it was wrong and what she can do to move forward to either right that wrong or not do it again. Because to me, she's old enough. She's 12. She's old enough to comprehend what's coming out of my mouth. She's old enough to understand right from wrong. And she's old enough to comprehend why something is wrong and why something is right. And while we're having a discussion, there's no need for me to reach out and touch her or anything like that, because her and I can vocalize what's going on. Normally what I do is I take away stuff. I take away privileges and stuff like that. She likes to play tennis, so I'll take away tennis. You like money? Oh, well, you ain't spending your money because I put a halt to your card. So if you need something, it's going to be the bare basic. It's not going to be these extra things that you've been getting. So I like to do that. It teaches a great lesson. So if you want to keep continuously getting these beautiful things and these wonderful gifts and pleasantries, you have to make sure you're doing what you need to do in order to get them. But yeah, again, I want her to live her own life. I don't want to project anything onto her. And I also want her to be a good human to other humans. We don't have a lot of people teaching that to their kids these days. It's a lot of hatred being taught to these kids these days. I want her to be respectful. And we talk about that. We discuss that. Saying excuse me when you need to say something if somebody's talking, or waiting till they're finished talking and then asking a question, or then talking to somebody. I have a lot of kids that just don't respect older people anymore. But yeah, I want her to be able to make good decisions and to be a good human, and not necessarily follow in my footsteps, but be better than me. And I want her to stay driven. And these are the things that I want for her. She don't have to follow through with none of this stuff, because again, that's her life and that's the decision that she made. And one thing that I do try to tell her is the decisions that you make, they follow you around for the rest of your life, girl. So always remember to be thoughtful when you're making your decisions, and never do anything with malintent. So, yeah. And I also tell her, like, you can't control people. You can only control your reaction to people. So, yeah, I try to teach her the better things out of life, and not to get upset and angry, to just take a step back, because you can't control everything, and have a good time. Live in the present. I hope, she takes what I'm telling her to heart. But for the most part, she's a great kid. And I love the relationship that we have. I was going to tell a quick story about, I left and went on a girls trip, and I talked about the girls trip on this channel. And she kept calling me and calling me and calling me. And I think my mom felt a little ways, and she was like, she just misses you. And I'm like, yeah, it's me and her. It's her and I. It's just all day long. We sit up, we joke, we laugh, we send each other clips and stuff like that. But there are some times where I have to, get on to her about cleaning and studying and stuff like that. And being upset and scaling back from being upset. So yeah, I'm glad that we have the relationship that we have. I wouldn't trade it for the world. She is, I always tell you, you're my favorite person, and she is. So I hope that she can look back on this and be like, oh, my mom really did care about me. Yes, I really do care about you. And I hope you do. Well, I know you're going to do great things. You're going to be an overachiever, like you always are. But yeah, thank you for watching, and let me know in the comments how the mother-daughter dynamic, or how you see the mother-daughter dynamic in your family, or in your friend's family, or wherever you see the mother-daughter dynamic, or the mother-grandmother dynamic, or whatever type of mother-daughter dynamic there is. Leave a comment about it. And I hope everybody is having a beautiful day wherever you are in the world. And I appreciate you watching. So happy 2021. Woo! Bye.